Our members, welcome. I'm grateful for you. Please log into your account so you can join in live and we can be hand-holding you and walking you through all the steps that we're going to be doing. But as we get started on creating this simple lead magnet, I have a quick question. When you're thinking of doing your marketing, when you're thinking of doing lead magnets and how do I grow, how do I meet people, right? And kind of put them in a position where they're willing to listen, right? They're listening to me, not just kind of the void out there in social media. Have you ever thought like, I know what I should be doing, and that's growing my email list. But the lead magnet piece of it is what feels like the stress trigger, the headache, because I'm thinking of the technical piece behind it. And we're not all tech savvy, right? We're not all, graced with the ability to kind of jump in and start an email list and be able to send newsletters and do all of that, because it is all that, while we're maintaining our business, right? It's something more. So today, that's what we're going to walk through. We're going to walk through a simple strategy. So that way, by the end of this, we're going to be able to have you guys implementing something this week. You're not going to get it all done today in this lunch and learn, right? But you are going to walk away with the strategies. Now, I do have a planner, so a lead magnet planner workbook that I put together this morning that kind of is a complement to this training. So if you guys want that, let me know. I can send you to the link that's inside the library to grab that. For those that are neighbors inside our village, it is free. It's part of your membership. But I think it's like $4.99 for everybody else. It's super, super reasonable. So today for this lunch and learn, welcome. Are you guys ready? Let's see here. I am once again going through, making sure, see, there it is. See, hi, Michelle. See, this is why it's important, because I want to make sure that I can see the comments coming in, because on my computer, not always there, not always there. And I see Estelle and Lisa. So thank you guys for watching. I see you guys. And I will be monitoring the comments inside the group as we walk through this. All right. Right, let's get started. So we are going to build a funnel that allows you to, I gotta get my notes here, where are they? To kind of create, because the sales funnel, I think for us is overwhelming. Like when I think of a funnel, like you have that visual and then the steps, and then I kind of get overwhelmed sometimes with, well, what am I going to put at the top of the funnel, which is our lead magnet, and then what's at the other end, right? Where I'm going to actually be connecting with people. So we're going to walk through 3 different types of lead magnets that you can consider creating. And then we're going to walk through what is the best one for you based on your goals. Because remember, as we were talking last week about the visibility, that 14-day visibility, stretch that we were working on, everything has to tie into your ultimate goal. So whatever this goal is for you quarterly, so Q1, right, the end of March, you want to make sure what you're creating supports that. It doesn't make sense to create a marketing campaign, a social media campaign, a lead magnet, if it's not going to support that ultimate goal. So you want to have that in mind. What is that goal by the end of March, your first Q, right? What do you want to have done? What do you want to accomplish? Because that's going to help you choose which lead magnet you want to do. Okay. So think about what kind of business you're in. And then what is one word that you want more of? So this quarter or this year, right? Is it leads? Is it clients? Is it bookings? Is it sales? Is it calls? Do you want more visibility? Do you want to improve your confidence? You want to improve your communication skills? You guys get to decide that. But what is that one thing you really want to do? So, okay. It makes me happy when I can see the comments because then I'm not stressing about that and I'm not distracted. So let's begin. The lead magnet. Let's just simplify it. Let's just bring it down to the simplest form, right? A lead magnet is something that is free. There's my four-legged doorbell going off. I'm not quite sure what she's barking at. So your lead magnet is free. It's a quick mini solution. It's something that people are willing to give you their email for. It's an exchange. Because everything in business is an exchange of energy, right? Hi, sweetheart. You're a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. Now go lay down. Right? So everything is an exchange of energy. You're going to, oh, geez, no, go lay down. You're going to knock everything over. Right? So you're going to give something to get something. And to get their email address, you want to make sure you're giving something that is of value. And I know, like, because I'm going to say us, and I include myself in this, right? We think everything we create is valuable. We think everything that we do has value to it. And I'm going to agree with you, it does. But to the person giving you the email address, it may not be valuable. So you need to make sure, one, we talked as well, right? Knowing that ideal client, because you want to make sure what you're creating as a lead magnet is valuable to them, right? So what is that exchange? You're not giving away a full course. I mean, some people do, but that's not the intent. The intent is you're not going to put all these hours into creating something for an email, right? You want it to be a mini solution, a quick fix for people. So it's not going to be a full course. It's not going to be this 30-page ebook. And it's not going to be something that they have to spend 2, 3, 4 weeks perfecting, right? A strong lead magnet does 3 things. It's going to solve one small problem quickly. It's going to create a quick win for people, right? That they're going to be able to feel right away. I don't know what she's smelling, right? And it's 3, it's going to naturally lead them to your next step. So your service, your offer, your paid thing, whatever that might be. And if you don't remember anything else from this training today, from today's Lunch and Learn, you want to remember that your lead magnet shouldn't make your audience say, oh my gosh, that was so helpful. What else do you have? Because the lead magnet should easily direct them to what they need to do next, right? All right. We are going to create a simple formula. And here it is. My lead magnet helps who? Get what quickly? Without what painful? So let me give you an example. My lead magnet helps busy women owners create a weekly marketing plan without spending hours every Sunday night stressed out. That was me last night. Working on something else, right? So you see, it has to be clear and it has to be one win and one pain point. So super simple and clear. Because if it's not simple and if it's not clear, people aren't going to follow through. So I want you to play along because remember, this is fun. This is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to love doing what we do. I want you to either write down in your notes or you can type it in the chat. I help who? Blank. Get blank what? Without blank pain point. It can be messy. We're not looking for perfection, right? You can clean it up later. I help who get what without this. So my lead magnet helps busy women business owners create a weekly marketing plan without spending hours every Sunday stressed out. So when you have your purpose and the promise, right? The promise is you're solving that pain point, right? We have to make it easy on us now because there's a ton of different lead magnets out there, right? There's quizzes, challenges, webinars, bundles, checklists, right? But when we're focusing on easy and simple for us, right? And we're taking the techie thing out of it, we're going to focus on one of three because you want to think about the quick and easy piece for you, not just necessarily the recipients. So the first one is a checklist, right? It's the easiest, it's the fastest. And whether you are product-based or service-based, a checklist will work. So, and with it, it is really like a checklist is a simple step-by-step path for them, right? So is it a 10-minute daily marketing checklist? Is it a new client onboarding checklist? Vendor booking checklist, right? Weekly planning checklist. If you are in the product industry where you're making products, whether it be clothing or candles or, bags, right? It can still be a checklist. You can still come up with, for candles, safety tips for candles. Here's your checklist for safety, right? Or how to make your own candle at home. Quick checklist, right? If you're making clothing, a travel checklist, right? This is great for those that are in the travel industry. Your quick packing checklist. Do you have everything before you go on your trip kind of thing, right? A checklist it works because it's light, it's easy, and people are able to do it, right? And it also allows the people that are receiving it structure. But the key behind a good checklist is not to have it like this huge, long, multi-page, right? It's like 7 to 15 bullets. Because again, it's got to be doable. Because if I open a checklist, like I think it's tax season, right? So I'm opening my checklist that I have for every year where I have to go through and make sure I do X, Y, and Z. My tax checklist is not 7 to 15 bullet points. It's much bigger than that, right? So, but I'm also not trying to get them done in a day or an hour. So when we're thinking of a checklist for your audience and that ideal client, you're really looking at keeping it simple, short, and to the point. Okay, 7 to 15 bullets. So if you had to build a checklist for your audience, what's the one thing it could be on? What would be the topic? What would be the focus? Right? You know your audience best. So think about what would be a good topic for a checklist. So that's type 1 of a lead. The second one is like a template or a swipe file. So these are ideal because they're duplicatable, right? Templates are time savers for people, and that's what a lot of busy people want. They want to know how I can do something and save time and not necessarily like be all in and then go, oh, 4 hours later, I'm still working on this, right? So examples of a template that you can provide are like a copy and paste or like DM scripts. It can be a welcome email template, a pricing inquiry, reply. So, or 30 social media captions, something that is easy, right? Gotta turn my notification. Right? So templates are easy and they don't overwhelm. That's the goal, right? So they feel like, oh, it's a relief. I can just like seriously plug and play. And so many of us, we have all the things that we're working on, especially as small business owners, we carry and wear so many hats that templates allow us reprieve. It allows us to be able to go, okay, I got this, I can do this, and I can duplicate it, and I can keep reusing it. I can, fine tune it. I can switch things out and use it someplace else, right? So to create a template, I want you to think about what's one thing that you do over and over and over again in your business. What is it? So for us inside the Savvy Women's Group, right, we send messages to, new members, depending upon their answer. So we have scripts that we've created that we then basically copy and we tweak based on who we're sending it to, and we personalize it, right? It's a time saver. It doesn't mean we just copy and paste and, hit send. It's not a true just, set it and forget it, because that's not how we go about things. We want to make sure we're personal, right? So you want to make sure, though, the basis of it is easy to use. So if you send something repeatedly, what do you send a lot of? Is it client replies? Do you have a lot of onboarding? Or, even a boundary message, right? If people keep, dropping it, and we talked about this last week too, about the DMs, like I kind of got on my high horse a little bit and kind of made sure we remembered the sacredness of the DMs, right? So, and I'm not going to do that again this week, but so I want you to think about, right, when people jump into your DMs, do you have a response that you kind of send to people that you're not connected with, but you still want to be somewhat polite, right? So that could be a boundary. So you want to create a message or a script around that. So the one thing I want you guys to remember, and this is really about the mindset piece, right, is your lead magnet is you're not giving away your best stuff. You are going to give away something small. It's a small win. It's a small gift. It still holds value, but it's building trust. Because why is trust so important? Because remember, this goes back to what we said at the very beginning of the training, right? Is you've got to make sure you're going to follow through with what you give, that the value is there. Why? Because it's going to build the trust. Because trust, who do we buy from? Do we buy from people that we don't know? Sometimes. But there's a trust element there. Every time we spend money, we take money out of our wallet, we use our credit card or debit card, doesn't matter your form of payment, you're using and spending your hard-earned money. You're not going to spend it on something that you don't trust, either the quality of the product or the quality of the person. Trust leads to sales. So you want to make sure as you're creating your checklist or your template that you're creating it knowing you're building trust. So the third type of lead magnet is like a mini plan, a one-page plan, right? So this is especially good if you are like a coach or you are a strategist or you're providing some sort of like holistic support, right? Because it's not an ebook. It's either a single page or a couple of pages that allows somebody to create a plan. So like I turned today's training into like a lead magnet planner. And I'm going to tell you, it's not 1 or 2 pages because I've broken it down step by step by step, right? So it's kind of a mini planner, but it's not really a mini planner because it's more than 1 or 2 pages. But a mini planner might look and feel like a 90-day visibility mini planner, a clarity exercise, right? Week 1 momentum planner or a lead magnet launch map, right? Where it's a visual. These planner types of lead magnets are effective because it makes your audience feel like they're being guided, that they're getting direction. And as small business owners, I think we can get overwhelmed with not knowing our next step, or that we're uncertain that the next step that we're going to take is the right one or the wrong one. And so we don't end up taking a step, right? So with a planner, and really any of these, the 3 types of lead magnets we've been talking about, they're not just content that these people are consuming, right? We consume information all day long. These lead magnets are about empowering those that are accessing it to take action, right? You want them in action. So here's a question. If you could give someone one page, just one page, to help them get unstuck, what would that page help them do? So I want you to think about when you're creating your lead magnet, right? Checklist, template, mini planner. It's going to enable the consumer of that to get unstuck, to get into action. What would this one pager, this gift to them, help them do? Right? Because you want, right, really to make the best lead magnet. It really comes from what people are already asking from you. So those are the 3 types of lead magnets that are the easiest to create. Because when we're talking like narrowing it down to really getting it done in an hour, right? Because we don't want to spend forever creating these lead magnets. You want to make sure you pick the right one, right? So how do you choose it? There's 3 questions you can ask. And based on the answers is what you're going to choose to do, either the checklist, the template, or the mini planner, right? So first question, what do people ask you for help with all the time? What's the fastest win you can give them in 10 minutes or less? And then what paid offer should naturally let this lead magnet lead them into next? What would be their automatic next step? So 3 questions. What do people ask for you already? What's the fastest win you can give them? And what is the paid offer that naturally follows this lead magnet? Right? So here's a simple rule. If your people need steps, pick a checklist. If they need words, pick a template. If they need direction, pick a mini planner. So thinking about what is your business, what is your industry, what is your topic, knowing those 3 questions, what do people ask for you all the time? What's the fastest win? And what is the next natural paid offer? Is it a checklist, a template, or a mini planner for you as a lead magnet? And here's another reminder. The best lead magnet is the one that they'll actually finish and complete. And if you're stuck choosing which type of lead magnet to create, then it's the same question. What's the lead magnet that you're going to actually finish? And if you're torn between 2 ideas, if you can't figure out if it's a mini planner or a checklist, right? Pick the one that you could complete today. What's the one that you can complete the fastest? Because remember, this is also about honoring you and your time and your energy and what you're capable of, right? And I know you're capable of doing all three of them, but you want to make sure, like, if you're going to do it today, what time do you have available today? And which one would you actually want to complete? And that's what you pick. Because you want to build momentum, right? Momentum builds our confidence. Confidence builds our consistency, and consistency builds our results, right? Momentum, confidence, consistency. Because our goal is results, and the results are building our email list, getting that exchange of energy. You're getting something of value. They're giving you their email address so you can nurture, right? Last week we talked about discovery content versus nurturing content. Once you get their email address, you've gone from discovery into nurturing. So we're going to walk through. So now you have the 3 checklists, you know, and you've decided which one you're going to work on today. So let's walk through what the 60 minutes would look like. Because again, this is about making it easy for you so you can complete, set a goal and get it done and get it implemented. Because it does not work for you if you create it and then you don't do anything with it, right? How many times have you gone to, and I can't tell you how many times I did this, right? I've gone to a training and then I've been sent home with homework and then I don't actually do it. I'm like going, well, that was useless. Like I went to this training, I spent this money or whatever, and I didn't actually use the information that I learned. So here we go. This is your 60 minutes. We're going to kind of break it down into kind of like 10, 15-minute chunks. And it's a sprint. This is something because you want to be able to get it done. So the first part is you're going to choose your promise and your title. So the structure is get what's your quick win without the pain point, right? You're going to fill that out. That's your get what without what. Your title ideas could be the 10-minute blank checklist, copy and paste blank scripts, 1-page blank plan, right? You want to keep your titles specific and helpful. You do not want to be clever. I know with ChatGPT, we can get all sorts of cleverness and we can come up with some cute things. Blah, blah. You don't want that. You want to be clear because clarity will lead to action. People will respond. And that's your goal with creating this lead magnet, right? So your first 10 minutes, that's what you're doing. You're putting together what is the quick win and what is the pain point that this is going to solve. You're going to create the title idea. Then the next 15 minutes is when you're going to create the draft content. Remember, keep it simple. So if it's a checklist, you're going to come up with 7 to 15 bullet points. If you're doing a template, you're going to do 3 to 8 scripts or message blocks or whatever that might look like, right? If it's a mini planner, 5 to 7 prompts with 1 action step. This is not the time to overteach in your lead magnet. This is about the quick win. Because remember, it's about value-based and leading them down to making the next step, which is to follow through it and come back to you, right? So this 15-minute block. So the first 10 minutes, you're coming up with the scripture, right? The script with your title. And then the next 15 minutes, you're going to draft the content. So checklist, 7 to 15 bullet points, template, 3 to 8 scripts, mini planner, 5 to 7 prompts, right? Then the next 15 minutes, this is where you make it pretty. You make it presentable. You make it easy to consume. Canva's great at this, right? You can, in Canva, or if you do a Google Doc, you can export them as a PDF. We're able to easily access PDFs on our phones or tablets or laptops, right? So you want to make sure that it's not a Word document or a Google Doc, whatever you're going to provide, because people may not be able to open it. A PDF, you have a high chance of people being able to open it. So you want to make sure when it's presentable, it's a clear headline, plenty of white space, bullet points, your name and website at the bottom. We are not looking for this beautiful, like high graphic type document. It's a lead magnet, right? So you don't have to have perfection. You want clarity. Besides having a clear headline, plenty of white space, because if it's too crowded, guess what happens? People open it and they're like going, whoa, I can't. They get overwhelmed. So lots of white space, right? Bullet points, not really long paragraphs or explanations. So besides those, you want to make sure your grammar is right, your spelling is accurate, punctuation, right? Grammar. Why is that important? Why is it? And I'm going to be honest, spelling happens to the best of us, right? We can review our drafts and edit and proofread all we want, and there may still be a mistake. Grammarly is great. Inside of the, either it be the Microsoft Word or Google Doc, they already have grammar and spell check built in. Make sure you're using them. Don't ignore the red squiggly lines on your document. Even inside of Canva, they have grammar and spelling built in. Don't ignore it. Use it. Okay. So then we're down to the last 20 minutes, right? Now we want to write the section where they're going to opt in. Okay, so you've created the lead magnet. Now this is about creating the opt-in side of it, where people see it and go, yes. And again, it's simple, right? Headline, get the blank, and that's where you're gonna put your title. And then you're gonna answer the question who it's perfect for. Perfect for blank, who want blank. So the who and the what. And then what they're going to get, 3 bullet points. And then your CTA, right? Drop your email and I'll send it. Comment, momentum, whatever that might be, right? So it may sound, want my free lead magnet, fill in the blank, right? It'll help you, quick win, without the pain point. Drop your email and I'll send it over. It doesn't have to be long and detailed for the copy. Because again, if you're making them work to get it, chances are they're not going to take action and give you their email address. Because if it takes a lot just to get what you're offering, then they're going, how much am I going to have to work when I get the product, right? So keep it simple. All right, the last 10 minutes. This is when you're going to pick one delivery method. This isn't going to be where you're going to put it in, 10 different places. This is one, just pick one. Are you going to send it manually to the first kind of 10 people, right? Where when they come and email, you're going to just kind of send a DM to them or an email specifically to them, right? Are you going to use your email platform? Are you going to use a simple form tool and redirect page? So a simple form tool and a redirect page, that gets a little bit more techy. But if you have a website, right, WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, wherever, normally there's form tools that are pretty simple that you can kind of plug and play. So, or if you have an email platform like MailChimp or I can't think of the other ones. We use MailChimp. So, right, where you're going to set up where you enter their email address and tag them with a certain tag, and then it automatically sends them an email, right? So simple, one delivery method. Don't overwhelm yourself. You can start manually and then upgrade later. What you don't want to do is delay your list growth because the tech piece isn't perfect. Again, remember what we said, right? Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Consistency builds results. So just think about that piece. So that's the 60 minutes broken down. So one of the share pieces is the share plan. You have to make sure you have a plan to actually follow through and lead the lead magnet that you just created. You went through all the work to create the lead magnet, to create, the share copy and how you're going to follow up and actually deliver it. You need a plan to be able to implement it. Because if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail, right? There's that old adage, right? Failing to plan is planning to fail. So you can come up with 3 different posts. So post 1 might be a problem post. If you're struggling with blank, here's why it keeps happening. And then you put the copy below it. Or it might be like a quick tip, share 1 tip from your lead magnet. So you extract it from the lead magnet and you, hi baby girl, right? So the other one is where you're inviting. It's just the simple want the free blank comment magnet or grab it here kind of thing. You can pin it, you can add it to your bio, you can mention it in your stories, but the plan is wherever you put it, you have to make sure you're monitoring it. Because if you're not, then you're going to lose track of, and then you're not going to follow through, right? Okay. So the next step is simple. You just need to pick your lead magnet type. You need to draft it today. You need to share it. Questions? I'm not sure if anybody is inside the group still. Participants. So it's easy. An hour. That's it. That's all you need to create this lead magnet. So if we're good, because we've already kind of gone over the 10 minutes, I've tried to keep this within 30. Let me know. Either leave a comment, send me a DM. If you want that lead magnet planner that I created based on today's training, let me know. I have it at PDF form, and I'll send it over to you guys. All right. I think that's it. I think we're good. And that's today's Lunch and Learn. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week. All right. Take care, everybody. And we will